this is a really, really good way for you to increase your income as quickly as possible. Hey guys, what's up? So if you saw my last video, you know that I recently switched jobs to a manager role at a well-known, well-established company. And I did mention in that video that I am making a six-figure salary, and I wanted to make this video kind of letting you guys know some tips and tricks on how you can also make a six-figure salary in the accounting industry, having roughly around 5 years of work experience. And so I came up with a few tips and tricks that I've learned over the years and things that people have just told me. And so I want to share that with you guys because
we all want more money coming in, don't we?
So the first tip that I have for you is to get your CPA license. Now, I do want to say that I do not think that you have to get your CPA in order to make a six-figure salary and to have a successful accounting career, but it will make it a lot easier and a lot quicker for you to move up the accounting ladder and to make that six-figure income as quickly as possible. A lot of companies, they will give you a bonus or a raise if you do pass the exams. And I just want to say that if you're only getting your CPA for the money, I do not think it's worth it, because initially it's not going to be that big of a bonus and that big of a raise. But down the line, having your CPA license could be the difference of you getting a job over someone else who doesn't have their CPA. It could be the difference between you getting a promotion over someone who doesn't have their CPA. So it does really help you, and it is better than not having your CPA. And it does really help you stand out. And if you stand out, it means that you're probably going to be making more money. The second tip that I have for you is to switch jobs. Now, I'm not telling you to job hop or anything, but I do know that a lot of people, when they first start off their careers, they kind of switch their jobs every 1 to 2 years. And every time you switch jobs, they will give you a bump in your income, assuming that you're still currently employed. If you're unemployed looking for a job, that might not be the case, but most people, they will not switch to a new job if their salary doesn't increase at least a little bit. So switching jobs will make it faster for you to make that six-figure salary and to increase your income. However, I have heard that there is a cap to that, meaning if you keep switching jobs, yes, you will climb the ladder really fast, but eventually there's not going to be an increase in your income because your capabilities are only so much, and there's a cap for how much they're willing to pay with someone with your amount of work experience and your background. The next way you can make a six-figure salary is to get promoted. And in order to get promoted, you obviously have to have good performance reviews. You obviously have to know what you're doing, very detailed. You have to not miss deadlines, not miss assignments. You have to be very responsible. With that, it probably means putting in a little bit more work and taking a little bit less money, but that effort might pay off down the line. If there's ever an opportunity to promote someone internally, then the company and your hiring manager will consider you. And I have heard that promotions are actually the fastest way to increase your income. Switching jobs, like I said before, there's a cap to that usually, but with promotions, there's usually no cap. And jumping from one level to the next level could be a significant increase depending on the company, the role. This is a really, really good way for you to increase your income as quickly as possible. The next tip I have for you is to pick the right industry. The good thing about being a CPA accountant is that you can pretty much work for any company, because every company has an accounting team and someone to keep their financial records and books straight. So different industries will pay differently. For example, I've heard that the financial services industry tends to pay more because they have more money coming in. And because of that, they're willing to pay higher incomes and give you higher bonuses and maybe even a sign-on bonus. With other industries more on the commercial side of things, such as manufacturing and retail, those industries, there's not as much money coming in. And because of that, they're not going to pay you as much with the skill set that you're bringing in compared to someone who has the same skill set as you, who might be going to work for financial services. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And I have heard that once you work in a certain industry, it's harder to move to a different industry. I'm not saying it's impossible, because I know that some companies are more flexible with that. They're open to any industry, but typically whatever industry that company is in, they want to hire someone who has background in that industry, just because you're more familiar with the terms and everything and how the processes work. Now, this is a little unfortunate for me because I have mentioned in videos before that when I was working in public accounting, I was mostly auditing financial services companies, and I just find that I did not enjoy that industry as much. And so when I made the transition to a new role, I didn't want to work in financial services. And I instead ended up working in the media advertising industry. And now that I switched jobs again recently, I am still in media advertising. So it is unfortunate that financial services pays more, but it's just an industry that I'm not interested in. And I just wasn't willing to work for an industry that I didn't have a passion for. So everyone's a little different. Some people, their biggest goal is just to make as much money as they can. Some people, their goal is to really enjoy their job and have work-life balance. Figure out what you want, but just know that some industries will pay more for your experience and your knowledge compared to other industries. The next step that I have for you is to look at the company's benefits, because compensation is only part of the package, and maybe the company's offering a lower compensation, but they have really, really, really strong benefits. And that's money too, because let's say they offer free health insurance every month. That means you're saving $100 to $200 every month. And so you can calculate how much money you're saving a year and add that into your income. And then some companies might have a really, really strong 401k match, but they would pay you a lower salary. And that 401k match is also income that's not in your yearly compensation. So the benefits are a really, really huge portion. It's not just the income that is your compensation. And then some companies might offer really good work-life balance, but they might give you a lower income. So again, you have to figure out what you prioritize. For me, I really value work-life balance. So I really want to work somewhere where I'm not working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I want somewhere where I can work a standard 9-to-5 job. And with that means that I have to sacrifice a higher income potentially to get that good work-life balance. And the last thing I want to leave you guys with is that sometimes your income really is just based on luck. It really depends on if the hiring manager likes you or not. They're going to hire you for a higher income. If they're urgently trying to hire someone because there's just too much work and it's not getting done, they might offer you a higher income just to fill that position. And in terms of internal promotions, if there is an opportunity and there's no one else that is as qualified as you are, then you're going to get promoted. But if there's a ton of people that are qualified, then that means you're less likely to get promoted. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned something. And the last thing I want to leave you with is to not compare yourself with how much money you make with someone else, because income is so fluid. You might be making less than someone else right now, but you could easily surpass that in the future. Nobody knows. Some people can have huge salary bumps and increases by switching jobs or getting promoted. And it's a very fluid world. Life is short. You don't want to spend your life comparing yourself to others. Just be happy with who you are. And the only person you should be comparing yourself to is you. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and I will talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.